Hey guys, alright? Welcome everyone. The film begins in 1984, when the Soviet Union and the United States are involved in a Cold War, sending various missions to the moon. The United States is also ahead of Russia in the race for space missions. On the other hand, we see a secret Soviet laboratory in Russia where two astronauts, named Sergei and Yosa, are working on a secret mission. It turns out they are collaborating with Russian scientists to create very aggressive humanoid sharks. These artificial sharks are designed to survive any situation and are intelligent. But one day, an error in the laboratory causes all the sharks to escape, destroying the electric fences. The sharks then continue to attack all the humans present. Sometime later, Sergei and Yosa manage to escape from the sharks' attacks and reach the spaceship. Since leaving the sharks on Earth could mean the extinction of humanity, they decide to head to the moon. When Sergei tries to pilot the ship, it has operational problems. He claims he will need time to fix it, but at that moment, several sharks appear behind them. Thus, Yosa stays behind to distract the sharks and sacrifices his life. Shortly thereafter, Sergei fixes the ship and pilots it toward the moon, driving the sharks away from human habitation. The scene then jumps 40 years ahead, where 8 American astronauts are on a mission to the moon. The mission is led by Commander Nicole Tress, while the team members include Josie, Owen, Henry, Tom, Ellie, Liam, and Michael. The spaceship is launched toward the moon, but all control systems suddenly fail, cutting off the team's communication line. Nicole gives the order to restart the ship, after which the team regains control. Just then, their ship collides with a satellite that would have allowed communication with Earth. Moments later, they manage to land the ship on the moon, but the system is locked. They have no way to return to Earth or communicate with mission control. However, after a discussion, they realize they have enough air and food to last 6 months, so they don't need to panic. Sometime later, Nicole decides to search for Yoda 2, a Chinese rover that is only a kilometer away and could help them fix their ship. She goes out with Henry, Liam, and Michael, wearing their spacesuits. Back on the ship, Ellie notices something written in Russian on the system and wonders what it could be. However, Tom convinces her it might just be some Chinese characters acquired from Yoda 2. On the other hand, Nicole and the team members end up locating the rover Yoda 2, but before they can get it, they see a creature moving under the lunar surface, coming toward them. To their horror, it reveals itself to be a humanoid shark that kills Liam immediately, and before it can reach the rest of the group, 2 people arrive and kill the shark. The man turns out to be Sergei, who has been stranded on the moon since he arrived 40 years ago. Meanwhile, the girl is named Akula and is Sergei's adopted daughter. Nicole and her team are surprised by Sergei's unique spacesuit and the fact that Akula doesn't even need an oxygen tank. Sergei assumes they must have been sent by the Russians to rescue him, but Nicole informs him that they are Americans and weren't sent on a rescue mission. However, Nicole insists they can help him get back. She further states that they must return to the ship as quickly as possible before the shark attacks again. However, Sergei tells them to follow him to his ship and gather the necessary supplies. Despite being suspicious of the person they just met, Nicole has no choice but to follow him. Then, everyone boards Sergei's rover and heads toward his ship. Along the way, a shark suddenly appears and takes Henry with it. Nicole runs to help him, but Sergei stops her, telling her they won't kill it. She then tries to alert her team on the ship, but Sergei interrupts her again, asserting that the sharks can locate the ship by detecting the electromagnetic pulse sent by the radio. Then, Sergei takes them to his spaceship, and Nicole is full of questions about his identity and how he is still alive. Meanwhile, Akula shows them a scar on her body and explains that she is also a hybrid shark, as she possesses more human traits than shark traits. Akula was considered weak and expelled from her tribe. She was then found by Sergei, who raised her as his daughter. Akula gives the group a spacesuit she designed that would protect them from electromagnetic waves and heat so the sharks couldn't detect them. Sergei reveals that the Soviet Union created these half-human, half-shark beings 40 years ago so they could declare war on the United States. However, after the fallout, they were forced to take them to the moon because it was too dangerous for these creatures to roam the Earth. Sergei then tells the story of his friend Yosa, who sacrificed his life so that he could live. Meanwhile, the sharks take Henry to their base, where they have established a real empire for their tribes. Sometime later, their leader, Zarina, approaches him and begins to torture him while asking about the location of their spaceship. It turns out the sharks plan to return to Earth to establish their colony and dominate humans as a superior species. But when Henry is reluctant to answer, Zarina orders one of her sharks to bite his leg. So, while Henry screams in pain, he ultimately reveals the location of the spaceship. However, he pleads with Zarina to swear that they won't harm his team, which she agrees to. Back on the ship, Ellie misinterprets Nicole's distorted message and believes they are in danger. Immediately, she and Owen go out to find their team and, after a while, notice Liam's dead body. Just then, some sharks appear behind them and end up killing them too. Meanwhile, with Sergei and Akula's help, Nicole and her team head to the sharks' camp to rescue Henry. As they approach, a guard shark intercepts them, but being very agile, Akula quickly kills it. After entering the enemy camp, they find Henry, who reveals that the sharks found the location of the spaceship and are on their way there. Hearing this news, they try to flee, but on the way, the group encounters an incubation chamber filled with frozen shark eggs. Michael argues they should kill them immediately to prevent the sharks from reproducing, but Akula interrupts him, claiming they are just innocent babies. Later, while the others escape, only Akula stays behind to confront Zarina. She informs Akula that she is the link between humans and sharks and invites her to join them so they can be more powerful together. However, Akula declines, stating they abandoned her when she was a child and therefore have no right to claim her now. Zarina reveals that the others wanted to kill her, but she spared her life because she knew humans would take her in. However, Akula refuses to yield to Zarina's manipulation and walks away with the rest of her team. Meanwhile, the sharks finally arrive at the spaceship, where only Tom and Josie are present. When Nicole and the rest of the group arrive, they discover that Tom and Josie killed the sharks and managed to save themselves. However, more sharks appear to attack them, and Henry states that since he is responsible for revealing their location, he will deal with it now. So, he goes outside to divert the sharks' attention from the spaceship and sacrifices himself by activating a bomb that kills most of the creatures. Back inside, the group desperately works to repair the ship but notices more sharks have appeared outside, armed with dangerous weapons. After that, Nicole tells them to hide separately, but Tom and Josie are quickly found and massacred by the sharks. Meanwhile, those still alive surrender to the bloodthirsty sharks. They are then imprisoned and brought before their leader. Zarina says that her team had infiltrated earlier and learned everything they needed to know to return to Earth. She invites Akula to join them again, claiming she is one of them, but Akula rejects her advances. Then, Zarina thanks Akula for carrying out the plan flawlessly and reveals that abandoning her near Sergei's ship was always part of the plan. However, Akula asserts she had no knowledge of this and assures Sergei that she is innocent, which he believes without hesitation. Next, Zarina orders her commander shark to kill the team, but Henry unexpectedly appears from behind and kills the shark. Unfortunately, he is immediately killed by another shark, but Nicole also manages to react and kill her enemy. Then, Nicole notices something in Henry's palm and discovers it is a flash drive containing information about their route. After that, they exit the ship one by one, and only Akula stays behind. She ends up killing Zarina by pushing her out of the spaceship and then jumps to the ground. Meanwhile, more sharks begin to appear, and the group somehow enters Sergei's ship, with no other option. Sergei declares he will fly his ship toward the sharks' camp, causing an explosion that will kill all the sharks within a 50-mile radius. Akula feels emotional and says she will accompany him, but Sergei tells her she should go with Michael and Nicole and asks her to stay alive at any cost. In the next scene, Sergei launches his ship and aims at the sharks' camp, and the geothermal disturbance creates waves of lava. Meanwhile, Nicole's ship, which had all the sharks on board, is also destroyed in the process. Now, Nicole, Michael, and Akula board another spaceship and return to Earth. They manage to crash in the middle of the ocean and are ecstatic to be back on their home planet. While discussing what to do next, Akula begins to suffer from intense stomach pains. When Nicole asks her if she has had physical relationships with other hybrids, Akula refuses to tell and says she wants to find an alpha male on Earth. At that moment, Nicole remembers Sergei saying that hybrid sharks can get pregnant through automatic parthenogenesis. Eventually, Akula gives birth to many baby hybrid sharks and moments later jumps into the sea saying she needs to take care of her offspring. Nicole realizes they are now doomed, as the hybrid sharks have arrived on Earth.